Eddie Moore and Sir Jeff Hurst, the Trevor Brooking and Billy Bonds, Paolo Di Canio, West Ham United. We celebrate our victories, we stick together in defeat. Proud of our history, West Ham United, more than just a podcast, more than just a podcast.
Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. This is more than just a podcast.
You're on the clock, not me, son. I'll sit here all night.
Oh, come on.
When you ready?
Oh, come on. You know the routine.
Not my routine, is it? Ain't my gig. I'm in my shed.
It's season 13, episode 32. If you haven't listened to episode 31, go back and listen to it now. That's our review of the two games and our news section. Which include Jonathan Bucci, who's not feeling very well, and he's gone off because he didn't want to do question time. So it's just left with myself and Shedman. Shedman, where are you? What are you doing?
I'm in my shed.
If you want to hear the full version of that, listen to episode 31. Look, it's time for this. Facebook Twitter question time, where you, the 8 or 9 listeners, get to ask us, the two presenters, some questions. Lately, mostly Len has been filling in while Nigel's ill or away. Even myself asking a few questions. But back in the hot seat, by popular demand, Nigel Khan!
Normal services resumed this week, people. For those that listened last week, believe me, I heard it. Dear, oh dear.
What was the problem?
For the record, you weren't fired. Yeah? For the record, you weren't fired.
It wasn't me saying that,
right?
Was it?
No, you wasn't fired. Yeah? For the record. An offer was made to you that you turned down. So, anyway, you weren't fired. So,
go ahead.
If you don't want to take the offer, ain't my problem. First up this week, it's the Pontiff himself, Mr. God bless you, Simon Pope. Evening, boys, he says. Moisey out, Brady out, all of them out. He said, but I'm sick of this negative shite, Moyes ball. Without Paqueta, we're bang average. I hope he isn't getting a new contract. I can't stand this for another 2 years. Could be foresight, don't worry. I can't remember the last time I really enjoyed a game of our football. Big love, the Pontiff.
Well, nothing's going to change. Let's be honest. You know, I know Nick think when he was talking to me earlier that, you know, talking to the senior source at this late stage and knowing the fans' feeling would change things. And you know, Huey's got a good relationship with senior source, and he said to him, he said, I can't put up with another year of this. And look, he wrote about this. And you know what?
You can't put up with another year of it.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And do you know what he said?
Turn up and pay your money?
No, he said,
didn't.
The problem with you is you're a
don't
glass
turn up.
half empty.
Oh, right.
And I'm a glass half full. In other words, he's saying, you're pessimists, you know, be careful what you wish for. You've never had it so good. And your stats sort of show that. And, you know, the football's not as bad as, you know, we have these rose-tinted glasses like football was always better and everyone always sang and we were right on the pitch, we could touch players at the bowling ground. Not really true.
Well,
right?
no, we could touch the players.
Not from the West Stand, you couldn't.
Well, back in the old days, before 2001, you could.
Yeah, but, you know.
And if they'd have rebuilt the East Stand, the gaps would have been closed, so you could.
All right, let's not start on this anyway. I've opened a can of worms.
No better
anyway,
than
look, get used to it. He is signing. He will sign. And, you know, you've got a decision to make. You either watch West Ham or you don't, right?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's part of it. What Simon says there. we're bang average without Paqueta. It does seem to be the way.
It does seem to be
But
the case.
but you know, at the end of the day, Paqueta is a maverick, isn't he? You know, the likes of, you know, Payet, Di Canio, he's box office, isn't he? You know, and unfortunately, players like that do have tendency to carry teams like West Ham. We've not had many of them. The fact that we go, you know, in the past 24 years, we've got Paqueta, Payet, and Di Canio. That's the three of them. That's it. You know, we got to cherish these players while they play for us, and look back fondly once they move on, because they will, because of the fact that the ballers that they are. But it's quite possible that we might hang on to Paqueta if we can keep playing European football.
Well,
unfortunately, you know,
I think it'll be simple as the investigation will drag on for 18 months, which means
whatever,
it will be way past September. It might not even be sorted to next January. I mean, that's how long it took for the Arsenal player, Granit.
Granit Xhaka. Yeah. As you struggled with last week.
Yeah, I know.
Paul Noland, next up. Beep, beep, it's the chauffeur. Question for Mr. Whetstone, he says. Which I'm sure a lot of people were saying, what the fuck are you doing putting polls out re-season ticket renewals? Well, you know now, it's because Hugh asked a question. If Moyes is still in charge, is that for Kim Jong's brother from another mother to help him decide if he keeps Moyes or not?
No.
So no, it won't.
No, it won't.
Although
most people did think it was, and I think Nick tried to say this is a really important poll because this will decide the contract or not. I'd like to think I'm that social influencer of that power that it would make a difference.
And of course it turns out it's because of a season ticket holder that don't fucking attend, wants to throw his season booklet back in. Well, where actually, Hugh, your view won't be any different next season if you do. That's all I'll say. Harshly, don't care. Harsh, but true. As far as I'm concerned, he said, people that won't renew cannot be proper. This is a bit harsh. Proper West Ham fans. I've been coming since '75 and had a season ticket since the early '90s, and I will support and come whoever is in charge. Support the team, not the regime. On saying that football under Moyes is not pleasant, he's saying he agrees though. The football under Moyes is not pleasant. No one can argue with that. But Sullivan out.
You know, it is the same under Avron Grant.
It's a bit harsh to say. I think I do struggle to say, if you throw your season ticket in over a manager, you're not West Ham, because at the end of the day, it's you know, you got freedom of choice, and if you don't like it that much, you know, that you can't just sit through it and grin and bear it. But the thing I don't get is, are you just going to throw your season ticket book, but then watch it at home? In which case, you're still watching it. Or are you going to throw your season book in and not watch the games? Whatever.
Like, you're going back to the bloody 80s. Do you remember, I love them talking. I know we're digressing. But do you remember when you used to have a season book?
Yeah, they stopped in 2000 and I think I got a card, I think in 2002 was when I got a card.
I was in the centenary upper when I last had a... And we, funny enough, John, my mate, because my first daughter was born in 2003, so I think I had to... Or was that before? No, it was before that. We used to share a season ticket. For whatever reason, I was doing something else. So I used to share a ticket with my cousin. So I used to go every other game in those days. And so it was really good because you could share the tokens out. Gary.
Whatever happened to Gary? I liked Gary.
Yeah, well, he does come occasionally. His son comes all the time, Dale. And Gary comes usually when his mate's got. He doesn't come as a season ticket holder because he's a big barbel fisherman. His big love is fishing.
A what?
He fishes for barbel. He's got a big.
And that the geezer used to play with Liverpool.
No, barbel is a type of fish, a bottom feeder. But anyway, it's not a fishing podcast.
No. Fucking hell, we'd all be asleep. You think Moyes is bad?
Yeah.
Michael Evans. What size flip-flops do you both wear? Size 10. Mike?
I'm size 10, although I tend to be more of a 10.5.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You
Talking
got
of
fat
that,
feet, though,
you know,
haven't
we haven't have. I've lost another kilo. Do you know what?
Phew.
Do you know what Mark Saggers called me by accident on Talks TV last night?
There's a big list.
He called me slim.
Slim.
He called me slim. He went,
Did you
"All right,
forget to
Slim."
turn your camera on?
He said, "Oh, I do apologise for calling you slim," and I went, "No, it's all right." He called me slim instead of Sean.
Perhaps it's like that reverse psychology. Like I worked with a geezer with no hair, and we called him Curly. Perhaps it's a bit like that.
There you
Sean.
go, slim. He called me slim. So that's I answer. That's who I identify with now.
Yeah.
I identify as
Oh,
slim.
you self-identify as slim, do you?
Slim. I identify
Oh,
as
I
slim.
should try that. Yeah. Next up is Jeff Shepherd. With his sheep. Evening, fellas. First time questioner.
Oh, welcome.
He says. So, Jeff Shepherd. So we'll call him Shepherd Pie. So Shepherd Pie says, can Sean shed any light on the whole transfer debacle that we've just suffered, specifically the rumours that Moyes turned down 8 of Tim's recommendations and who they were, if it's true, and can he clear up the wrong agent nonsense? Brady outside. Can I just point out, Sean, how refreshing it's been to no longer be in a circle of trust.
I know. I knew you were going to say
This
that. I know you
transfer
missed it.
window.
And you probably, because there was a lot of it.
Because the people ask me things and I go, no, I don't know. And they go, why not? I go, because I don't fucking care.
Yeah, that's fine. You know,
So
if
it's
it's
good.
good for your mental health. That's,
Yeah, it's just
So-
not involved in it all.
Look, I got told that Steiden and Moyes were working together. Sometimes they didn't tell Sullivan, right? There was a lot of times where they kept their targets. All I was told there were 20. We know some of them. We know Osman was being worked on. We know Calvin Phillips would work on. Jota was definitely being worked on. I don't know the other 17. And this rumour that Moyes turned down 7 players, and I think this rumour is left out. It's all speculation. I've certainly not heard that. And everything told me that they worked well together. They just couldn't find, and Moyes said this himself, they just couldn't find the quality that they found in Calvin Phillips. They were offered a lot of trash. You know, they could have signed someone like Lingard, but they decided not to. And they just decided the quality versus the price was not available. And so I'm not aware of any instances where Steiden offered a player and Moyes turned it down, and 7 would sound. I'm sure I've heard of it by now.
Yeah.
If we move on to Osman and what happened there is quite quite simply, the agent wanted £7 million on a £15 million deal, and no one could work out who the actual agent was. You've got 2 people saying they're his agent. His former agent said, "Hang on a minute, I've still got the rights." Someone part of the Right to Dream that Kudos was part, and then the new company go, "No, we've got the rights." So you've got 2 agents, both claiming they represent the player, and asking for £7 million. Well, to quote someone who talked to me, the deal stinks, and I ain't going further on about it without creating some libelous stuff. But anyway, the deal didn't happen because it was very murky, and I'll leave it there.
Yeah, I only know about this from listening to last week. I ain't got a clue who Osman is anyway.
He went to the same academy as
Oh yeah, I guess that.
Kudos. He's a Ghanaian player basically.
Oh right, a Ghanaian.
Like plays in the Danish league.
I know it's the top league, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dear, oh dear.
Yeah.
Next up, AI Sean. Hey up, gently, Whippets and Yorkshire. T.I. Brady out and Sullivan out. But he did enjoy Nigel's review of West Ham managers. 6'2", back to doing what it does best. Dear, oh dear, you little shit stirrer, Sean.
Yeah.
Is there any stat other than the end result which Nigel thinks isn't bollocks? XG in. This is to do with a little tete-a-tete that me and AI had on Twitter, where he put out West Ham's XG, and I just said, that's bollocks. In fact, that's a big load of bollocks. XG is the biggest load of bollocks that's ever
the
been
chances of the next goal
put
being
in.
scored.
Yeah. What a load of bollocks.
I don't know what the formula is.
Because
to that.
XG can't decipher whether your striker's shit or not. Yeah, so you might be able to create all these chances, but if your strikers are shit and can't put it away, XG don't tell you that. That's why, Sean, it's bollocks, to coin a phrase.
There you go.
Is there a stat? I don't mind. Obviously, the amount of goals we score is generally a good indicator of a stat. No, I think they've got stats of a whole. Don't tell you the game. The reason why I go, stats, because, you love your stat attack, and it don't tell you a story of the game to someone who's not watched it.
Agreed, but it gives you whether...
It's an indicator, because if you've not watched the West Ham Man United game at the weekend, just saw the result 3-0, like Saggers, you'd go, well, West Ham didn't turn up.
Well,
but if you look at the stats, then you think, well, actually, they did turn up. We did turn up. We did play really well. Anyway, IR then says, apparently Thiago Silva's wife's called for a change of manager at Chelsea. Can you confirm whether the senior source polled the players' wives to see whether he should keep Moyes?
That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
And can we recall a player having a worse start to their life at WHU than Calvin Phillips? His name was Sasha Illich. He possibly had the worst, I'd say, debut for West Ham ever. It was the only game he frigging played in, and it couldn't be much worse. But that followed on from the Stephen Bywater debut against Bradford when Shakira broke his leg. We won 5-4, but even Bywater had a very nervous appearance. So there's 2 for you straight away. But he will follow it up and say Brady out and Sullivan out.
Gosh.
There you go. Lee Thomas Anderson.
Saved the club and the anyway.
Yeah, anyway. Evening, gents. Brady out, says Lee Thomas. A man with 3 names. Can Sean explain to us exactly whose fault for the shambolic window? I thought we were changing as a club after the window. Obviously not. If you'd just listened, Lee, as you probably were, you'd have heard Sean's answer. I'm not sure, actually, that we can call it a shambolic window.
No, I don't think so.
To be fair, when you look at, not to say I don't like finger pointing, but when you look at football in the Premier League as a whole, what's going on, you can see that a lot of clubs are cutting their cloth as accordingly as they should do.
And I go back, if you listen to episode 31 in particular and go through that, who did anyone sign that you go, that player fits in our squad, that's a player we should have signed? And people say, why did we release those 3 players? Quite simply, I'll just repeat it. I said it in episode 31. They didn't want to play to us. Kera wanted out. Benrahma wanted out. Fornals, bless him, wanted out, and he'd been that way. He wants to go back to Spain. Kera wanted to go back to France, and Benrahma wanted out of this country as well for whatever reason, and sold or given notice on his house. So you can't, all right, you can force players, but it don't work. So if you're going to go small squad, they weren't in form, they weren't being played, why should you force them to stay? I don't get it. I think that the right decision was made. Yeah.
I don't, to thin out your squad's never great, but when you look at what we lost, I don't, 4-0, it was, I understand the reason. It was done for the money. He wanted to go back to Spain. La-di-la-di-la. And he weren't signing a new contract. No. He forced to 1 year just so we could get some money for him.
Yeah.
We knew that was the case. Benrahma, as I said in the previous show, hey-ho, see you later.
It's a shame about Benrahma. I thought he showed some promise. And Fornals did great for us, He was a great ambassador.
It is.
But Benrahma always had that arrogance, always thought he was better. And he did some great stuff for us, but he was very up and down. And it will be interesting to follow how well he does out in Lyon.
All right, okay. Next up is Dan Numbers. Was Sean's poll last night part of the Tesla repayment schedule with a senior source? A lot of people. See, this is your problem, Sean. It's people see you do things like that and they automatically jump to think,
Sullivan asked
the
me.
club's had a word with him.
Yeah,
And the truth is, people, that generally...
Do you think that? Because you actually messaged me. Do you want to say what you messaged me?
What did I say?
You've gone to new low, Sean.
Yeah, but I just thought it was stupidity.
Which is the 15th time you've sent me that message.
Yeah, I know. You keep sinking lower, and I don't think you could go any lower, and then you go even lower. But I never thought for a minute that Sullivan had put you up to you. No, of course not. I just thought it was you being a devious prick.
Yeah.
Then you tell me the story, and I just think you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So actually, it wasn't. I raised the bar up a bit. It wasn't a new low.
Yeah.
Is the reason Moyes doesn't give much away in press conferences because it's better for people to think you're an idiot than open your mouth and prove it, Brady out. I mean,
he's gone on record. He doesn't like the press. No. He doesn't like giving it. He does his absolute minimum, which is why when he doesn't have to do it contractually for the league games, he gets his number 2 to do it. It's not about giving them experience. He just doesn't like talking
I
to the
couldn't
press.
believe the hoo-ha because Moyes sat there and said, Man United's a tough place to go. It fucking is a tough place to go.
I'll tell you one thing. When you listen to him, and I listen to a lot of his podcasts, and there is this, and look, I don't want to get too into this argument about woke and everything, but I find that not only is there more female commentators, but they've filled the press rooms now asking questions with women, right?
Yeah, well, they will at West Ham, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, the West Ham press conference is like nothing, is it? So all the geezers get to go off to, like, all the chief football writers are all sitting around Man City, Man United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham and all that. And we get the also-rans.
Yeah, so anyway.
Like the Roshan Thomases of the world.
So you fill the press room now with a lot of women asking questions, and I listen to it because they release it up raw and uncut. And his contempt for some of their questions. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. Some of their questions are a little bit ridiculous, right? But his contempt, and I think as an old school manager, he just goes, that's a fucking stupid question to ask. And look, it's not just women. Some of the males ask.
But look,
if I was there asking questions in the press office, there were certain questions I would ask to try and some of them are just
it's one of the most ridiculous things.
It's a waste of time,
right, for the Premier League to come out and stipulate that a manager has to give a pre-match conference and a post-match conference. Yeah. I can understand a post-match conference, but I don't think actually they should be forced to come out straight after a defeat or whatever and give their thoughts. You know, very rarely you never heard from John Lowe before a game or those, managers back in the day. And you would get a little bit after, not much, until they brought in this, you got to do a pre-match, you got to do a post-match. Why is that? Because Sky had a 24-hour news channel and it needed bloody content. That's where it all stems from.
Yeah. Anyway.
Next up, Andy Farrell, the legend that is the rugby coach of Ireland and the Great British Lions to be when we go and beat the South Africans. Evening, gents, says Andy. Or Eeyop, as he is a northerner, of course. Do you think Phillips will be up to speed before he leaves?
Well,
Brady
there's been a joke on X, formerly Twitter, that we're getting him trained up to be match fit by the end of the season.
Well, I know you, but you say that. While that may be a joke, Sean, we all know why he's come to play. Yeah, it's because he's seen Jordan Henderson go up to Ajax, and he's thought, I need to make. If he wants to go to the Euro 2004, he needs to be playing. Because isn't it funny how who did Gareth Southgate go and watch this weekend?
I don't know, who did he? Oh, he watched
Jordan Henderson in Ajax. Yes, he did.
I've just seen the. I'm sure it was there earlier. Match fixtures changed. 2 more games on a Sunday, 2 p.m.
Oh, was it? I've not seen it.
The Aston Villa game moves on Sunday, the 17th of March, with a 2 p.m. But
that was always going to happen because we've got the European game.
Yeah. The Burnley game has moved to a Sunday, 2 p.m. And the Saturday game at St James's Park against Newcastle, still on a Saturday, but 12:30 kickoff.
Yeah, I see that happened. The coach from Hornchurch, the Hornchurch coaches, it just reminds me of going to Sunderland once, 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, myself and my good friend did a Sunderland game on the coach, and what we decided to do was go clubbing in the West End Friday night and then get to West Ham and just get straight on the coach up to Sunderland.
Yeah.
It was a good move, actually. We had a great time.
Anywho,
Ballon d'Orson says Moyes ball should be subscribed on the NHS to insomniacs. Is there any truth in reports social media that a Champions League winger was due to sign until the club discovered he was caught in one of Dodds' entertainment parlours?
I shouldn't laugh.
Can you reveal the name, Sean? Brady out, Dwarf out, and Moyes ball in the bin.
Don't know.
Not a lot of love for Moyes here, is there?
There isn't.
Oh dear, oh dear. My good friend, Dave's son, it's Ted Sexton. Good evening to you both. Hope you're well, Ted. We had chances, but our shooting was abysmal, and they took the piss copying our goal celebration. Yeah, no one's mentioned that, have they? Get your own.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I saw that.
Obviously touched a nerve, didn't it? The Caduce goal celebrations with Pat Guitar sitting on the wall, that they felt the need to replicate it. But imitation is another form of flattery, apparently. Darren McBurney, he's on fire, says, evening, gents. It seems we are between the devil and the deep blue sea. If you look at results, Moyes can be viewed as a success. Hence my articles.
Yeah.
After all, it's a results-based business, and the owners are happy. It's good for business. Then we have the flip side. Unattractive to watch. We've got no visible transfer policy, leaving us weaker. No integration of a successful under-21 team. I beg to differ, though. It was a successful under-18 team. They've all just been promoted into the under-21 team.
Won the FA Cup.
So, yeah, but under-18s. We cleared out the under-21s that weren't good to allow for all these under-18s to all move up roughly at the same time. Some have stayed back. But, let's watch this space. He feels that we could have stayed at Upton Park and be in the position we are now. Exactly right, Dal.
Don't start that again. Come on, move on. Come on.
All right, just a yes or no. Do you not see a merit in that argument?
No.
If we were at Upton Park, we could be in this position.
No.
All right, we'll have that argument another day then when you've got a bit of time.
Yeah.
He says, would you guys use a magic button and return us to pre-GSB or stick with what we have? Brady out. That's a good question, Dal. I'm sure everybody won't be surprised when we say, where's that button and where do I press?
No way. I mean, we end up in Icelandics, probably sold off to an American consortium. I don't think we'd have the success. We wouldn't have had a Ted Lasso feature, and our brand wouldn't be recognised across the world.
Fuck off, Sean. Nice job. Neil Eddie the Eagle Edwards. Evening, chaps, he says. He wondered what your opinions are about why the club made it quite well known they were looking for attacking player this window, but let Ben Rama and Fornals go.
I mean, quite simply, I think we've discussed this several times. They didn't want to stay, and we couldn't find an attacking quality player of attacking quality within our budget. As simple as that. You may not like the answer, but it's the truth.
Yeah, you can't shoot the truth. It seems mad to admit that they're short in an area. Let players go. Sorry, a bit of Seanism there. Where would you say the fault lies? Why do we need to lay the blame, Neil? Well, why do we need Sullivan, Stein and Moyes, combination of all three?
I go back to, tell me what attacking player, another Premier League player, this is a challenge, I keep on saying, no one can come up with an answer. Tell me a player that was signed by another Premier League player, an attacking player, that would walk into our team straight away. I keep on asking this. No one can come up with a...
Because there ain't one.
Because there ain't one, yeah.
He finishes, he thought the club was attempting to become more professional with its transfer dealings, but it seems we're as amateurish and poor planning as ever.
Again,
Leon and Bettis. Cheers, all Brady outs.
If we're to believe it, it was a FA or FIFA issue, technical issue, and not a West Ham issue.
Well,
But
it weren't FA,
who
Sean,
knows?
was it?
It wasn't
No.
FA. The senior source said that, but I think it started with F, and he got his F's mixed up.
There you go. And then you repeated it rather than just say it was FIFA.
Yeah, I know.
You repeated the mistake that you made.
I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm a messenger.
Yeah, that's right. Even when the message is wrong.
Yeah. Even when the message is wrong.
One of my faves. It's Jason back to the 70s house. Evening, gents, he says. I'm not going to talk about the football tonight because it's far too miserable right now. City winning, then? Are they again? I don't know. He wants to talk about Sean's favourite subject, food.
Oh,
He goes, "Ooh."
not anymore. Go on.
Here we go. So, no, lack of food is Sean's favourite subject.
Oh, okay.
Weight loss is Sean's favourite subject. And
yeah.
I will back him up, people. I know I take the piss out of him. But I must admit, I see a photograph of him the other day and he did look rather slimmer.
Thank you.
And then I bumped into him in person and realised it was the camera angle. But anyway, it was just the look anyway. So he said, this is back out, it's Jace. He said he got the ground early Thursday for the Bournemouth game. So did I, Jace. Should have had my pie mash early instead of standing at the bar. But there you go. Thought I would sample the pie and mash vendor that's by the DJ booth. Not tried him. I have to say, pleasantly surprised. Very tasty. Reasonably priced at £11 for one pie, 2 mash with liquor. Yeah, I paid 14 for 2 and 2, Jay. Although quite tricky to eat using a fork with one hand. So have you been pleasantly surprised by some of the food at Grand, or were you like me and thought it was overpriced rubbish? Well, I do partake every game now in the pie mash, and the reason why I do it every game is I want to make sure they stay there. £14 for double can be, and it is, a lot of money. So if you go into a pie and mash shop, you're going to be paying between, we used to charge £7 for it, but I mean that was a few years ago. So you'd be looking at probably between £8 and £9 now, maybe £9.50 for double. So 14 quid, 4 or 5 quid dearer. But at a stadium, you're going to pay more. Then compare it, it's proper pie mash, compare it to the burger and the other filth that they serve up. And believe me, proper value for money. You do like your food over there, Sean, no? You've had the kebabs, though, haven't you? You don't
Yeah,
mind that,
my son loved the kebabs. The kebabs, they've got this like cheese sauce on them. Not for me. I like the pie and mash. I used to like the salt beef bagel, or it wasn't bagel, it was actually a salt beef in a brioche bun, but I used to like that. But of course, my body is a temple now, so I don't eat there. In fact, I went to the Ledger Building with Len, and I had, right, you'll love this, I had a 8 ounce steak.
8 inch, Sean.
No,
Is that
8
what you had?
8 ounce sirloin steak with a jacket potato, less than 700 calories, no sauce or anything, just a bit of salt and pepper on the potato, and an 8 ounce sirloin steak and a drink. I had spiced rum and Diet Coke, only 51 calories, for the Weatherspoons in the Ledger Building.
Yeah.
Len, you know he's a vegetarian, doesn't touch meat. Chicken wings.
Oh, there you go.
Chicken wings, and like for a meal and a alcoholic drink is like 12 quid in the Ledger Building.
No, I know the Ledger Building, Sean. If you remember, I used to drink in there.
Yeah, I know you did.
All right, next up, it's the Yorkshire Cornishman who met my sister on Thursday, and she said to me, "Who's that bloke you was talking to where you did the Welsh voice?" All right, my handsome, it be Dardsy.
The Welsh?
Voice.
I thought you were
Welsh
talking about
voice,
Miriam.
indeed. I said, ain't bloody Welsh. Anyway, never mind, Dodds. Nigel, he says, what reaction have you had to who is the best manager stat-wise of all time on 6'2"? Are you missing 6'2", Sean?
No, I've got a lot of my time back. I'm so busy at the moment.
Yeah. Sean, have you enjoyed the... I mean, a few people, I think, I don't know if people were surprised or not. The fact that David Moyes is the best manager, stats-wise, statistically, that we've had league football. The only thing I could say about Moyes is what you got to remember is that his stats will fluctuate as his career, so you can't really judge it properly until he leaves.
No, that's
So,
right. Be careful what you wish for. It would be a bit like,
but you know,
after
yeah.
they sacked
So,
John
but
Lyall, and
once
you
he's
go,
gone,
oh,
we get the definitive placings. But he was, fourth. It was what was he? He was 5 points clear of the person behind him. So that'd have to have some drop off for him to drop the 5 points. But anyway, everything's possible.
yeah.
Sean, have you enjoyed the reaction at the fact you told all the YouTubers and ITKs David Moyes will be signing a new contract?
Oh yes, oh yes.
Has it gone a bit mad? Has it, Sean?
Oh, it's gone a bit mad, particularly with, of course, a certain Nick from Clarence Booth says, I'm misguided and that I'm being taken for a ride by a certain senior source who's making me do his dirty work by pretending to Moyes that he's going to sign a new contract, but he has no intention.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Yeah, anyway.
Cuckoo, cuckoo.
When everybody's fit and back, who do you think the starting 11, or who would you like the starting 11 to be? Brady, says Dart.
I mean, who else would you bring in apart from Paquetá? I mean, you've got your strongest 11 at the moment. Paquetá.
All right, who's your goalkeeper? Quickly.
Areola, of course.
Right, see, I'll go Fabian. I think Fabianski is a better keeper than Areola now.
Oh, do you?
I do. Yeah.
All right, fair enough. All right.
So, at the back, who's your central defenders?
Well, I'll go Agur and Zuma.
Right,
I wouldn't put Mavropanos in. I'll make him the third.
No. Right, okay. Not Ogbonna, obviously.
No.
So, who you having? Obviously, left back, I think Emerson picks himself
awesome.
now. Right back, Soufal, I think, actually.
Yeah, Soufal, almost definitely.
In the middle.
Followed by Ben Johnson, who's capable of...
Yeah. In the middle, who are you having?
Probably Calvin Phillips and Alvarez.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. So, right, wide right.
I always get confused which side Kudos plays and which side Bowen plays.
Well, generally, they played wide right, and then they'll cut in.
Well, you fit... I'll just say, you put Kudos, Paquetá and Bowen in those three spots. How you split them up, I can't remember which position he played.
Well, I'd put Paquetá. Paquetá's been shunted out left. I'd rather see him in the middle, but you could dovetail it with... I mean, in a day, you're looking at Ward-Prowse, Kudus...
Oh yeah,
Paquetá.
sorry, I forgot Ward-Prowse. Yeah,
and Bowen.
And you leave Antonio on the bench as a super sub. Yeah,
Antonio on the bench.
So I think apart from
Keepers,
Paquetá
really.
and your keeper, we're pretty much agreed.
Yeah. There you go, Dodds. Next up, it's we're going to pick over Barry Carcass now.
All right.
Evening all. He said, seeing our City, United, Liverpool, Newcastle haven't had an issue integrating successfully a young player or two into their squads, how does Moyes justify not putting one or two on when the game has gone at 3-0 and putting Cornet on for 3 minutes additional time against Bournemouth? How many of you feel Europe via league position is still possible? Brady and Sullivan out.
I think it's different, completely different. They've got so much good talent to pick from, City. And do you know what? I know it frustrates us that Moyes doesn't play the kids, but when he has played the kids, I just think it's difficult to blood them like this. I think a lot of
I get what he's saying. I think what Baz is saying is when you're 3-0 down, why not bring a kid on to give him a bit of...
I think it's wrong at Old Trafford, personally. Yeah. Look, I think he's doing right by... What he's done with the young kid Marshall is what he should be doing, right? Send him out for a year at West Brom and bring him back and then have him on the bench and introduce him. We've got Mumbama. He hasn't done that. Alfred Scarles and who was the other one that was on the bench? I just think it... And we always we never get a chance, but not a lot outside the top four. Who else? All right, Brighton, Brentford, bring them through. But I think you have to build them up and you have to get them out on loan with competitive football. It's difficult to make that jump from under 21 straight to the first team. I think you sometimes spoil them. So I will defend Moyes in a little way of, but I don't know why we're not sending these good prospects out for a year first. Why are we keeping them in the under 21s?
All right. I'm not sure. Scotty Neville, he says, after saying social media was the only one saying Moyes out and not the people who go to games, did you smile, as you usually say? You don't go to games and are social media. And
Who
have
said
said
that?
Moyes out. Brady out, Moyes out.
Who said
I don't
that?
know Scotty's
Well, I
pointing
did.
that at.
Well, I did. He might be saying it to me because that is what I said on Talk TV last night to Mark Saggers. So maybe he's picking up on that.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I'd just think that it's
Who said that? Did you say?
Scotty Neville, one of the Neville brothers.
All right. Don't know him.
All right. Okay. You don't know him?
Well, I know the Neville brothers, but not that one.
All right. No, he was the one that didn't make it. I'm going to leave Flo Rider till last. You'll see
Yeah, I've
why.
read that. Oh, that's really sad.
Richard Stubbington. If he's new, I've not seen it. But Dickie, you should now be known as Ticket Stubbington. Evening, you two, because we don't get ticket stubs anymore, do we, to collect?
No.
What does Tim think, as if Sean knows? And where does he stand on Moyes getting a new contract? I don't think anyone knows, Dick.
No one I don't think knows.
Is there an uneasy alliance between them? Will the new contract and its terms hand more power to Tim and make him Moyes' boss?
No, definitely not.
There you go.
Look, I think with any relationship, if you've been in business and you've been in where you've got people with a lot of responsibility, there's working relationships. They don't become best friends because you don't get to a point of manager or director of football without, being a bit selfish, having a bit of an ego. So, Moyes is always going to want to get one over on other people in the club, and Tim Snyder's probably no different. But they have to have a working relationship, and I understand they do have a working relationship. As Russ, DJ Russ always points out, he takes a picture from me from his little button monkey booth every game to show me that they're there pre-warm-up, talking, chatting normally like two colleagues would. He's chatting to players. So, it appears there is a good working relationship. No, the only bit I know is Moyes would never report to Tim Steidten. That's just not that's just not an option at all. I would hope that Tim Steidten is rated enough by the club that they wouldn't try and upset him. So when they do the contract, they want to try and make out that they're sort of equal. They're equal partners in transfers rather than one gets it and it's more of a committee. But this rumour that Liverpool are interested, it got leaked to the press by someone. I don't think there's a lot of substance in it. I won't tell you who leaked it to the press, but let's just say
Tim.
I wouldn't say that, but it's just a big.
I know you wouldn't, are they?
Yeah. Let's just say he wants to put a bit of pressure on.
Let's get it. It'll be interesting. Yeah, if old Xabi, does up sticks and go to Liverpool, whether Tim will get a phone call because
Yeah, who knows?
Many do say that it's Steidten that put Xabi Alonso at Leverkusen and all that.
Yeah.
Even though about a month or 2 months after Alonso turning up, Steidten was gone. So quite how he left, we'll see. So people give him credit for Alonso, but let's see if that really happened.
Yeah.
Old Tickets carries on saying, will Moyes stay and precipitate the departure of some of our more creative players? Bit more fanciful, Dickie. I don't think that's true. Any acknowledgement from the club that the manager's general dour, demure approach to the game, which is 20 years out of date, will likely put off some players from joining, as well as making the fan base increasingly more alienated and prone to flip-flopping at the first turn of a form downturn.
I don't think they see it like that. They look at the success. They look at the European. They look at 3 years in Europe. They look at we're top 7. They look at we're last 16. And I'm quoting directly from a senior source, right, in the last week. That's what they see. And they say some fans are never happy. And I make him right on that.
When I say he's good for business people, what I'm saying is that football's now a business. West Ham United is a business.
Yeah.
Business has to generate money. When you look at where does the biggest income come from? Ain't from the fans no more. 60,000 being there, if 60,000 is true, doesn't generate income. One, because of the ticket prices, and two, because it's dwarfed by the money from the league.
Yeah.
Now, how does a club generate more money in the league? It finishes higher. Now, if Moyes can replicate some of his other finishes, that'll mean, say he gets a top 10 finish, that'll be 3 top 10 finishes in the past 4 years. Well, that is good for business.
Yeah.
So if that is good for business, like playing in Europe has been good for business, then why would you ever get rid of it?
It ain't going to happen. And
It ain't gonna
the
happen.
quicker everyone gets used to that, then the better. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on. Lastly, he says, where do we predict? Where do you think we'll finish?
Seventh.
Yeah, I'll go for 8th.
If Paquetá comes back and we've got Antonio on the bench and people stay fit, I think we can get 7th. I really do.
Funny enough, that ties in old Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy plays guitar. Evening always says, disappointing result, but not a terrible performance it weren't, Dave. It was good to watch, really. Come on. Do yous think we'll be able to maintain our lofty league position until the end of the season, given our depleted squad? Well, you've just heard.
Yes.
Sean thinks 7. I'm going 8. There you go. Next up is Grant Croxford, the old Bicester hammer. Evening, chaps. Says, good to have Nigel back. It's good to be back, Grant. As Nigel ever thought doing an hour special on the Bond scheme would make for a good podcast YouTube video. Brady out, Sullivan out. Season tickets in, says Grant.
There you go.
There you go. I do like a bit of Grant. Good idea, Grant. One day, I think it'll be good. I've got a lot of information to pass on for those that are interested. The last great stand of the West Ham fan base. There you go. Paul Celeb Suet, or Artura, for those of us that remember the day. Hope you're all keeping well. He says, how do you think West Ham can bounce back from their recent loss to United? What areas of improvement do you believe they should focus on?
Get
a draw against Arsenal.
Yeah, well, you get Paquetá back. I mean, what's going to change? I mean, it's a free hit, right? I think we should treat Sunday as a free hit.
Yeah.
And just throw caution to the wind. I would start, actually, Danny Ings as something different. Yeah,
right.
I would. He showed that he can play. I would start Danny Ings on Sunday and see how it goes. See if he can prove a lot of people wrong.
All right, okay. Yeah, I mean, I know, next up, I know people sometimes think I take the piss out of people, our listeners, but I do it with love. I do it because I do genuinely enjoy it. So next up, it'll be Devin Dukes of Hazard Senior. I'm from the USRV. Woo-hoo! They actually talk like that.
Do they really?
He's from South Carolina. I do believe, sir.
He's a redneck then.
He's
a southerner.
Well, yeah, he's got the old
my
General E. Lee.
My missus is a southerner. She's from Atlanta.
Oh, right. There you go.
Atlanta,
Georgia.
She's from Georgia.
Is that on your mind?
Her family are still in Georgia. They're in Savannah.
Does she get the midnight train?
No. To Savannah.
No, to Georgia.
To Georgia.
You know the song, didn't you?
I do, yeah.
Oh, right, there you go. All right, I thought I was wasted.
I was going to do the mountains or hills of Georgia? Is that?
Right, that's the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, Sean.
Oh, is it?
Anyway.
No, I'm thinking of Martin Luther King. Didn't he talk about the mountains or hills of Georgia?
I don't know. I'm
going to look that up.
Randy Crawford sang about rainy night. But anyway, we digress. It's not a Georgia podcast.
No, it's not.
Howdy, gents, he said. Was thinking this after our recent departures. What is your take on getting kits with players' names on them? Thanks. Well,
Not
Dev.
well, me.
Well, you got
Look,
plenty.
look. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together
Or daughters.
at a table of brotherhood.
Or daughters.
There you go.
Or
So there
daughters.
was the red. I don't know where the red hills of Georgia is, but he had a
right.
dream. He had a
There
dream.
you go.
Martin Luther King.
There you go. So
Go on.
did they have a plantation back in the day?
I don't know.
Anyway, do you like? Well, look, Dev, I'll answer your question.
I've never had a
I possess.
player's name.
I'm not like Michael
Oh.
Clifford. I possess about 30, 35 West Ham shirts, maybe more than that. Only one name. Only got one shirt with a name on the back. What name do you think that is? Well, I got two actually, but one I didn't do.
Bonds.
No.
Moore.
No.
Brookin.
No. Didn't have names on back.
Oh, it will be your mate Gary Breen.
No.
I don't know. Cross.
No. Didn't have names back then, did they?
Cotty.
No.
McAvenny.
No.
Oh, just tell me.
DiCanio.
Oh, of course.
DiCanio's the only shirt I've got, the only name I've got on the back of a shirt. The
Believe
only
it or
one.
not, I've got one shirt with a name on the back. See if you can guess mine. You should know it.
Well, I was thinking.
Given to me. Match worn shirt.
Yeah, but I don't really want to call you names.
Go on.
I know I do generally. Does it say like prick?
No.
Right.
It's a player's name.
Oh, a player's name. So I thought it was
Yeah.
your name. Is it Cotty?
No.
Oh, right. Is it? Oh, you did get given a shirt.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. We were a bit surprised.
Oh,
Remember?
yeah.
No one ever picked it up.
Arnautovic.
Arnautovic, you're right. I've got a shirt worn by
The
Arnautovic.
shirt one Arnautovic. Yeah, we don't know what game he wore it in. We
No,
think he
we
was just
don't.
warming
No.
up, actually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway, yeah. So, is that all the comments?
By the way,
Couple more
big
comments.
shout out to Father Chris. Spoke to Father Chris on a non-podcasty show. Good to hear your voice. Good to speak to you in the week, Father Chris.
Is that the first time you spoke to him?
No, I don't think I've spoken to Father Chris before, not in person. So I gave him a bell about a business matter.
Oh, yeah. I told, I was speaking to the Reverend Jonathan.
Oh,
And we was talking, obviously, about Father Chris. And
yeah. So, yeah, we had a chat
his
in the week.
upcoming
We're gonna have another
transfer.
chat. Yeah.
And the phrase I used was, of course, Sean's got an angle. Dear, oh dear. Charlie Fawkes says, hello, Sean and Nigel. Simple question. Has Mark Noble job a proper job?
No, not at all. He's an ambassador. Let's be honest. He's an ambassador. And at best, all right, let me be less unfair to him. He looks after the academy, right? He takes a keen eye on the academy. Puts out the cones. He trains with the kids. That's a bit unfair to say he puts out the cones,
yeah.
but he definitely trains with the kids. But it's more of an ambassador role than a sports director. Let's be honest. Sorry, Nopes, but it's true.
Right, okay. It's
Are we
true.
done?
No, we've got two more.
Okay.
Two more. I'll be
Go on then.
quick. I'll whiz them through. Next up, it's my favourite Canadian, apart from Barry Mickle, that is. It's Palumi Ogaluna.
Oh, Palumi.
He says, hello, lovelies. There
Yeah.
you go. Every transfer window, the club acts like they knew it was happening the day before and complains that people are overpriced. But then every summer, there's too much competition. How will this club continue?
Oh, come on.
Why we got rid of two offensive players to bring in a defensive one when we have no striker is beyond me. And then he put a link, which is a great read for those of the time, which is a link to a Twitter feed. So
I know.
feel
This is
free to
his
look that.
XG. This is his XG.
Oh, is that this the exit? Oh,
It's
this is the
XGG.
geezer.
Yeah.
This is the one that I turned around and said, AI Sean tweeted it out.
Yeah.
and I didn't even bother reading it.
This is
I went,
West
it's
Ham
bollocks.
are 16th in a minus 0.35 XGD/90 in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
but after 22 games this season, David Moyes has scored West Ham's 36 goals, which is the second highest total since we returned to the Premier League in 2012. After 22 games,
I think
second highest total. And who set the highest total, Sean?
you're going to say, I don't know, Man City or
No,
it's going to be.
So David, so every West Ham after 22 games, West Ham, since we come back to the Premier League, we've scored 36 goals this season after 22 games.
Yeah.
Second highest we've done since 2012. Who was the manager when we scored the highest?
Village?
No, David Moyes. Two years ago,
okay.
we scored 41 goals.
There you go.
And the season before that, Moyes has scored 34 goals.
Yeah, good point. Anyway, move on before another question comes in.
Okay, sorry.
This is what we did the other week, right? And each
I know, it was quite funny.
I know, and I was wanting to go, and another question came in. And,
Mark Bright says, "Good evening. Hope I'm not too late now. The results of the senior sources poll, eh? What were the results, Sean?
Yeah, we weren't the senior sources poll. The results were, as I said on episode 31. Go and listen to it. But basically, it's a load of bollocks, which is more 50-something% of people won't renew their season ticket. Yeah, right. Let's see. Right, come back to me at season renewal time and let's see if that comes true.
All right. Last up, well, not second from last up, actually, is Mr. Ian Gravitt, a good friend. Evening, gents. Hope you're well. Was Osman recommended by Steiden?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
He was. All right.
Yes.
There you go. If so, what now for him? If Sazi and Silkman's questioning his targets, any chance Spiv Midget will still up soon? And why is it that once a player starts to play quite well, scores his first goal for the club, he's immediately chopped from the starting lineup? He's talking about Cornet there.
Yeah.
And now there's talk he could leave. Well, he can't leave till the summer.
Well,
Anyway.
91's come in for him, and he's got this. Clubs keep on asking for his medical records, and then they don't put a bid in. I don't know what that says because I've not seen the medical records. But look, Steiden did want him, but the mess, I think everyone agreed, was not worth the risk. And Osman was not a player for this season. He was probably one for the future. At 15 million, too big a gamble plus a 7 million agent fee. It just wasn't to be, and that's not Steiden's fault. It's not anyone's fault. And whether an agent or an advisor, and there's been lots of speculation, that's why you get lots of different views, and it's a committee. And I don't think we should. The trusted advisor pointed certain stuff out. I don't think we should chastise him and think we know better, because it's all about opinions.
Okay, and I've deliberately held this one back till last. It's Flow Rider Hammer. He said he wanted to give me kudos for my tribute to a dearly departed friend, which was original Russ from West Ham Till I Die. Losing him and Roy within the last year is difficult, but I guess none of us are getting any younger. Cheers, mate. So, yes.
Is that the Russ I know?
Yeah. So,
you never told me this.
Did I not? Sorry about that. Yeah, so you'd have met Russ. He weren't a big fan of yours, to be fair. Sean. He liked everyone, just not
except me.
Yeah,
that's fine.
But you're used to that. So a great person, a great man, absolutely massive West Ham fan. He'd been ill for a long time. He fought it like the soldier he was, and
rest in peace.
I suppose it gets.
I know you didn't like me, but I hold.
Yeah, I did. I'm joking there, sort of.
It's all right.
Basically, if you go to West Ham Till I Die, you can see there's about 10 people. Put together an article with their thoughts and memories of him. I was invited to share mine. It was only short, so I'd like to finish with what I wrote.
All right.
Which was on Thursday. I walked up the stairs to block 214. and I paused as I looked left to where Russ and BSB used to sit in the frontish rows. They moved a few seasons ago, but I still looked Thursday, and I remembered occasions we'd chat at half time, and on the odd occasion I'd sit with them for a better view. While Russ has departed now, he still lives on in our thoughts and memories, because football is much more than a game. It's about the people we become friends with through it as much, and we never forget them. And that's, yeah.
Yeah, great way to end. So, yeah, it comes to us all at some point, but, you know, as we get older, and I'm only too aware of this, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of our friends will be, you know, passing away.
Far too soon.
Yeah, and, you know, we see it up on the big screen at the London Stadium of people. So, you know, very sad to hear that. Anyway, we'll be back next week to talk about the Arsenal game. That will be fun and games. I've been Sean. Nigel has been
here.
And yeah, that's another episode in the can. Episode 32, 33 next week. Bye.
Bobby Moore. More than just a podcast. Bobby Moore.